Hi everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Non-Native Leader, a video podcast series where we talk to leaders in various fields, various industries, and who have one thing in common: they were not born in an English-speaking country. If you follow the series, you've seen we talk to leaders in NGOs, leaders in IT, fintech, um, marketing experts, copywriters, various aspects. And the thing we always try to talk about is personal stories and some useful tips and advice on how to become a superstar on the global stage. Today, I'm really happy to have with me Maryia Tuleika. Sorry if I have mispronounced your name, Maryia.
You said it perfectly.
Thank you very much. And thank you for being here with me and to talk about, your experience. And I'm curious to know a bit more of what you do and how you do it.
Mhm.
So thanks again. And yeah, so tell us, what are you doing these days, Maryia?
Yeah, first of all, nice to meet you. And yeah, I'm really happy to join this episode. My name is Maria, and yeah, I'm currently working as a test automation leader based in Stockholm, Sweden, and yeah, I specialize in both test automation, and I also enjoy sharing my knowledge and running classes, both online and offline, and yeah, occasionally showing up on LinkedIn with my posts and so on. Yeah, well, I enjoy talking to people and sharing my experience.
Yeah, that's great. And I believe, this is already a great aspect because, yeah,
Mm.
there are loads of experts around, but not everybody is willing to share their knowledge. So this is something that I particularly appreciated when, I read your posts and when I saw what you're doing. And so, like, are you currently working, let's say, for an international company? Are you working solo? So, what is the, yeah, I suppose, what are you doing where are you working?
Yes, I'm working as a consultant
Hmm.
at a company where we get different assignments. And right now, I'm working with an assignment for Stockholm Public Transport Company. So it's quite an interesting experience because, I know that my work affects people, and I can apply my knowledge to make life, everyday life of most of the people in the Stockholm region a little bit better and more comfortable.
Oh,
Yeah, so I really enjoy it because I have so much impact on, and I kind of see and feel it. I myself, I use public transportation because, here in Stockholm, it's uh, I'm pretty proud of it. So
of
it's so
course.
convenient.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
it's even like better when you can see the impacts of what you do
yeah,
in
yeah.
something that you either use or do daily, I suppose. So that is something that I hear a lot. A lot of people like are amazing, I don't know, workers, but then they say, yeah, but I can't actually see the final, the impacts of what I do. And
Yeah.
and then in your
Um,
case, this seems to be the opposite. So it's great. I
yeah.
think it's a great
Yeah.
feeling.
I enjoy it.
That's fantastic. And one thing that I suppose is particularly interesting is the fact that you share your knowledge, but and whatever you share is not limited, obviously, to the region you are working
Mm.
on, but you share with everybody who has an interest in these topics. Um, and so, like, why? Why do you do that? Why do you share your
Why?
knowledge?
Why? Well, I mean, I don't have any reasonable explanation, but it kind of comes from inside. So I need to share my knowledge so that I know that it kind of it doesn't die within me.
Wow.
But rather continues living in the others' work, and also I love to foster next generations of new testers and so on. And also I have a background. Well, back in the days I was studying when I was studying at the university, I had 2 specializations. One of them was pedagogical and learning stuff, and the other one was mathematics and
Wow.
languages. So I kind of tried to mix everything in my everyday work. So I want to apply the knowledge that I have. I know how to share the knowledge, and I want to do that in the best possible way. So I try to do both, online on social media channels and offline in the classroom and so on. So I feel it. I feel that it's my duty.
Well, it's an amazing combination, to be honest with you, mathematics and teaching in a way. So
Yeah.
that creates a fantastic alchemy, which allows you to share. And it's pretty, I mean, it's not something that, as I said earlier, it's not something that everybody is willing to do, to put the extra time, the extra effort to do that. So these are the things I really do love, to appreciate, going the extra mile for the others. So which is
And I also use it. I also feel that it's very useful for me. Like I get so many questions and so many different angles. Well, I understand the topic much better when I try to explain it, and that's one of the basic, learning pyramid things, that as soon as I try to explain something to other people, especially junior or beginners, beginner level engineers, you understand it so deeply, so you can so you grow constantly. It's really amazing.
this is fundamental. It sounds a bit cliche, right, when you say it. Look, by teaching I also learn. Yeah, it does sound cliche, but it's actually true, because
But it's true, definitely.
exactly. And I see it every day. They ask you questions, say, okay, how am I going to explain that? And then, something clicks in your mind and you have to do it. And then, boom, suddenly, you've learned a new way of explaining things and telling things. And this is a great process. And Maria, you've mentioned classes. So who are you working with?
Here in Sweden we have a program where people who want to change their profession, they have this opportunity paid by government, and we have so-called high schools where they usually study for 3 years and become new professionals in different hands-on professions where there is a lot of demand for new work force. And I work in this type of schools where I teach both test automation and programming. And I and the level of the new students is varies very much. So even a nurse can come and say, okay, I want to become an engineer, a software engineer, and they have a chance, because almost everyone is accepted. But of course, not everyone passes through exams, but still they have this chance. So as soon as you put enough effort, you're more than welcome. And yeah, so and this setup also affects me as a teacher, because I know that there are many non-technical people, and I have to explain it in the best possible way so that most of them still get what I want to say. And yeah, that's a real challenge, I must say.
Exactly.
And
It's not like
yeah.
would you say that's the hardest, the most difficult thing you have to do? So teaching software engineering to non-engineers, is that a like the main challenge you're facing?
I would say yes, but one more thing is that I have to consider is also that not everyone is speaking perfect Swedish, for example, because I have to teach in Swedish because it's a governmental thing. But not everyone is perfect at Swedish at that moment, because many are newcomers and they want to get a new profession, and they're allowed to do that as well, of course. And in many cases, I have to either repeat or in English or whatever language, other language I speak, and or maybe record a special extra session so that everyone is on the same page. Of course, it's not always my I don't have to do that, but yeah, I feel good when they ask me to do that, and I can just
You can't ignore the
no, I can't say no to that.
Yeah, this is great. Like so many ways of building bridges and to reach out to people and say, okay, how can we support you? And
Yeah, I want to be that person that I needed back then, 10 years ago.
Absolutely.
That tells me, okay, this is the thing you should put most effort to. Um,
Yeah,
my
absolutely.
background is from the country where, well, I come from Belarus, where there is a high context culture, but at the same time, people don't tell you, I mean, directly what to do, where to learn, and where to find information. Everyone is more kind of isolated and in its own bubble, and here it's totally different. And that was also a big challenge to adjust to this culture change.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a great point actually. So I don't know much of let's say that the culture you have in Belarus, and I know a little of the culture you might find in Sweden, and that must have been quite challenging for you, especially at the beginning, I suppose. So, did you have like any strategies to cope, especially at the beginning?
Yeah. First of all, I came kind of prepared. I did my research in advance. First of all, I studied Swedish in the university, but it wasn't enough, of course, to, I mean, like speak on the streets or in the insurance company and so on. But
Sure.
it was a good start, I would say. And then engaging in different meetups and speaking to people, maybe in the shop or in the library and so on, and trying to understand how they behave. It's not easy, of course, to become friends, like, I mean,
Sure.
from day one.
No,
But
for sure.
no, but trying to understand and investigate a bit and just talk to people, be outside a bit more, and do the extra mile and help people doing something that I could contribute with, and so on. That helped a lot.
Yeah, that's a great point, actually. So help people. So, okay, you don't have, let's say, don't have the language, but you have the knowledge. And so say, okay, I can't talk to you right now, but I can share whatever I know so that we can connect somehow. And I believe this is great. So build, again, going back to the previous idea, so build bridges. So in that case, you were trying to build a bridge and find a way to connect with people. You're still there in Sweden, working for the government, so it means that it did work as a strategy.
Yeah, sure. And I exactly remember the moment. Like, I mean, here in Sweden, literally everyone speaks English. And as soon as they see, okay, you're struggling, they switch to English directly. And because it's easier for them, of course.
Sure.
But and I couldn't speak in the office, or I couldn't practice my Swedish in the office from the beginning. And it was in the first 3 years, I talked like just English because no one wanted to talk to me in Swedish, actually.
Wow.
And then I switched job, and I'm so grateful for the manager at that company that he asked me, okay, do you want us to speak Swedish to you? And I was like, yes, I
please,
want
to. please do.
And everyone in the team was so, everyone just waited for me, like, when they saw, okay, I'm processing the information, and it takes a while to understand and build all the complex sentences that I wanted to tell. And it was so funny in the beginning, but I'm really so grateful for that team that supported me there, even though I was, obviously you don't speak technical stuff at home. You can't practice that in the street.
Maybe in front of the mirror, but
so it was both funny and challenging, and I grew so much back then.
Yeah, it must have been a great journey, and I mean, it's always down to patience, isn't it? So your patience to take it easy and start understanding, but also other people's patience, to listen to you and to help you and to support you. So this is one thing I always see. It's always an exercise in patience. And when people want to rush, say, okay, no, take a step back. You have to start understanding things, but there is no shortcut, I'm afraid.
No.
And then when you find like in your case, when you find supportive people, it's actually great. And so that, I believe, that made you switch from an initial period of, I don't know, can we say a bit of nervousness, anxiety, to something a bit more like...
I guess that was a switching point when I stopped kind of feeling frustrated that okay, I kind of can speak Swedish, but I at the same time I can't apply it at my workplace, only in the shop or somewhere else. But that was kind of the moment when I felt, okay, now I'm integrated. Now I feel confident in whatever, like, okay, I can live in this country and understand people a bit more, because language it's a crucial point, or it's a central point in the cultural mindset. It's the core of the culture, and I was kind of proud to be part of this community of Swedish speaking people.
Absolutely.
Because I mean, I know so many people living in this country for 10 years and even more, and only speaking English. And that's okay. Everyone accepts that. It's okay. Everyone is so nice, and there is no problem at all. But I felt like, okay, I want to understand this culture better. I want to be a part of this mindset.
Yeah, and there's only one way, the
Yeah.
language. Yeah, there's sure, yeah, you can make a living with English, absolutely. And I have heard many stories of people who lived or still living in Sweden, no problem with English. But yeah, that's this point you're making, I think, is crucial, because if you want to be part of a culture, you do need the language. There is no way around it. So
No.
well, I have to say fair play to you, to for making the effort, going the extra mile to learn not the easiest of languages, I would say.
No.
But
Yeah.
yeah, for sure, it's great, and I believe people do appreciate it at the same time, when you make
Yeah,
an
sure.
effort.
Of
And
course. Of course. It makes you open for better or more opportunities. Like, for example, teaching students in the classroom, it requires Swedish. And that was actually the next step. Okay, am I confident enough to step up on stage and speak Swedish in the classroom where like people with different backgrounds, and I need to be as clear as possible, and maybe also involve some other languages if possible. But yeah, it's very cool.
I'm very curious, Maria. So, how did you feel the first time you entered a classroom and you knew you had to teach your class in Swedish?
Yeah, I was really, really nervous. It was horrible actually, because I was like, okay, I was double checking in advance all the terms and all the words, and I was mixing with English a lot because software engineering. Well, everything is in English. Technical documentation, all the words there. Well, I talked Swinglish to them, to be honest. But as soon as they start, then the ball becomes rolling, and it becomes easier, of course.
Yeah, but that moment when you open the door and you enter the classroom,
It
that's
was.
yeah. I know I can totally relate to that.
I
It
really,
is
really did my
challenging.
homework. I
Yeah.
was preparing a lot, like I put my slides, and I kind of tried to reproduce whatever I would say to them and so on. Yeah, it was cool. Now I don't do that anymore.
Yeah. Well, at the beginning is fundamental to rehearse, to go through what you want to say over and over, and visualize and imagine. Okay, so I am going to say this,
Yeah.
then they're going to
Yeah.
reply, and then I want to add this point. Yeah, this is great. So do your homework. It's great piece of advice, I think, and that's something that I always tell people. Say, okay, sure, you're going to be nervous, you're going to be afraid, but yeah, try to visualize the situation in advance. Uh, and Maria, you've come a long way from that first class, I'd say. So how has your life, your career, your situation changed since then?
Well, I like teaching, and I also consider it my maybe, well, right now it's my part-time activity, but I would like to extend this to like maybe 50-50 or even more. But I believe that technical courses, they have to be led by engineers with hands-on experience. And yeah, that's the part where I want to be both technical expert and a teacher. It's hard to some extent because it's never easy to find customers that want to kind of where you're allowed to work only part-time and spend your second half of your work time teaching other students that might not be ready for work directly. But yeah, I find it really inspiring, and it gives me energy to continue doing whatever I'm doing.
Yeah, I can see that there's true passion there, and that is the best drive. Like when you can get to a level where you put passion in whatever you do, I think that it shows, and I'm sure it'd be also easier to convince those clients of yours to invest, because ultimately it is an investment. You know, whenever you're teaching,
sure.
even if people are not ready, but they will be ready eventually, and that is something that is worth investing on, I believe. And okay, now we spoke about, you know, your initial challenges and the turning points. I suppose if you were talking now to someone and going through your same journey, like, would you have any recommendations?
Don't be afraid. Just do this first step, and then it's going to be easier. Small efforts, but everyday efforts, they pay out in the long run. So yeah, just do small steps every day. And I'm a big fan of small atomic learning, but every day. So even if it's like a little tiny thing that you could improve or get to know today, just do that. And it's so much easier to integrate it compared to, for example, one big thing that just frustrates and fuels frustration, and it's so scary to just approach it sometimes. So do it in small chunks instead. It's going to be so much better.
This is precious advice. Yeah, if you see a big task ahead of you, feels scary, feels like, oh, have to climb that mountain? No way. But you know, every mountain starts with a single step, and then eventually you might get to the top. So this is really precious advice. Thank you, Maria. I think that is something that a lot of people will relate to, and yeah, and this is something again that I always tell and I always see. You know, okay, I have to do this big thing. Yeah, start small and go little by little. Don't rush. Back to the idea of patience, I'd say.
Yeah, and it applies to so many fields. It's like everywhere, either languages or math or programming, whatever. It's the same thing.
Absolutely. Look, Maria, it's been great talking to you, and thanks for sharing, you know, your story, and thanks for putting the human touch to it, which I think it is highly beneficial, especially in the world, you know, of software engineering and
AI is
mathematics.
everywhere.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. AI is everywhere. So we're real. Look, I'm a real person. You're real too. So thanks for that. And I've really enjoyed it. So Thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me. It was a pleasure, and hope to hear from you in the future as well.
Absolutely. We'll be in touch. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.